Hey y'all, how you perking? I hope you're perking good. So, Roe v. Wade and all the different stuff that goes under that. That's a big thing right now. People have been asking for this, requesting this. So here we are to take a look in it today. It's interesting. If you watched the May 2022 predictions video that I did for the month of May, just to see what kind of predictions I could determine for the month of May, there was a period in there where I was talking about what looked like a political scandal, and I was using imagery that was coming into my head about an egg and a sperm, and I was like, why am I coming up with these things? I'm like, this is crass as hell. I'm like, where is this coming from? And then I was like, wait, wouldn't it be hilarious or weird or, interesting if what came true actually did have to do with something around eggs, sperm, sex, etc. And then, boom, 3 days later, I believe, was the leaked Supreme Court opinion on the whole Roe v. Wade matter. So, yeah, we're gonna dive into this a little bit more. I am a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual intuitive, and we're gonna take a look at this tea with the tarot. So, let me go ahead, pull up the card screen over here and move this microphone right here. Penelope and her purples are gonna be helping me with this. And as always, y'all, this is all alleged, just my interpretation, okay? All alleged, just my interpretation. Even if I've already predicted this, we're still saying this is all alleged, just my interpretation, okay? Okay? And if you like videos like this, there's over 70 other ones like this over there on the Perk Squad. So if you'd like to click that blue join button below to become a member of the Perk Squad and get 5 extra perks, lots of different perks. But like I said, exclusive videos are some of those, and also video shout outs like this one. So shout out to you, I Truly Army 1. Shout out to you. I hope that I said your screen name right. I Truly Army 1. Shout out to you, and thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad. Thank you. Alrighty. So, let's see what we can figure out here, what we are allowed to know from Spirit about this whole thing with Roe v. Wade and all the implications and things around it. Some of the questions that y'all have been asking that I want to get to. Of course, people are wondering what kinds of decisions are going to be made. People are wondering if this is going to be some kind of a scary, slippery slope where, it starts to give people license to, quote unquote, take other freedoms away. As it relates to women's decisions over their bodies and things like that. People had questions over who leaked it and why. I have not been watching the news, so if they've already answered any of these things, then I apologize. I haven't seen it. I am just looking into this, and just in case it makes a difference, it is 6:38 p.m. You almost saw it there at the end. 6:38 p.m. on Tuesday, May 10th, right now as I'm filming this. So, don't know what time or day I'm going to be able to get this video up and edited and out. So, who knows what may or may not be said about this after 6:38 p.m. on May 10th, 2022. So, putting that out there. Alrighty, let's take a peek. So, in general, spirit guides, what are we allowed to know about this process? Where would y'all like us to start here? Sometimes in our private readings, people will be like, just ask the spirit guides where they want to start, and then we'll go from there. So we do. So I'm just going to take that. I'm going to take that and run with it. Alrighty. Let's see. Any context? Do we need any more context? Gonna give some context around this one. And some around this one as well. And may as well give some here. Okay, so the first things that I'm looking at here, the Three of Wands in reverse means that when this was leaked, they mean this was leaked. So you know how sometimes people will say, well, but was it leaked by, Supreme Court members intentionally, like maybe there was a certain member of the Supreme Court that intentionally leaked this because they wanted to, fulfill their agenda one way or the other, or there was some kind of a thing to be gained by leaking or whatever. I don't see that. So I know some people have asked that, and I don't see that to be true right here. I don't see one of the actual members being the one to make the leak. It looks like when I'm seeing this here that they would have all been like, excuse me, what the fuck? Like, I think they were as shocked as the rest of the country here on that. So just putting that out there first and foremost. The second thing that I want to put out there is we have a very interesting dynamic here between this set and this set. So these two cards and these two cards are saying almost opposing things, and yet they are juxtaposed right next to each other, which is very interesting. So over here, it's like, don't worry, you're going to have choices. You're not actually trapped. You're not actually bound up by this. This isn't something you have to feel like a victim about. There's choice. See, look at this. We're handing you these choices. We're handing you these things that feel good. And then right next to it, it's like, whoop. Not gonna move forward, gonna have some painful endings. Things aren't gonna go the way that some people were hoping. There's gonna be an end there to that. And the reason why I feel like we have these two views that look like they shouldn't go together, oil and water don't mix, but yet here they are sandwiched together, is because I think that this is gonna be a matter of perspective. So, I know that's probably weird to say. I know that's probably hard to swallow for some people, because people are like, well, this is a Supreme Court decision. You're either this or you're that kind of thing. True, but the way that people take the decisions, the way that people feel about the decisions vary greatly. And some people would think the right decision is to keep things as is. And there are some people that think that the right decision would be to take those back, repeal them, whatever you want to call it. And so in some way, there is a matter of perspective going on. How people will feel about this and react to this is a matter of perspective. It's not necessarily, black or white. And so what I'm looking at here is with how this is going to go, the direction that this is going to go in the future is going to be a matter of opinion. That there will be both sides to this. So for those of you who are against having any kind of, rights around abortion stuff or whatever, those of you who are against that, there are going to be some things that roll forward for this that it's like, sorry, tough titty, there's still some freedoms around that. This is not completely gone, whatever. But for those of you that feel like everything needs to be kind of completely free game, have all avenues open that are currently open, no further infringements other than what already may exist, it does look like there could be some difficulty around that as well, some struggles around that as well. So I'm not really seeing that there's going to be, how do I put this? The extremes on either end are going to not be super happy about what this looks like. So start trying to get comfortable with what a middle ground might look like and how that might feel, because it looks like there's potentially a middle ground. And when I'm saying a middle ground here, Two of Swords in reverse. We've got these over here, Four of Cups upright, Seven of Pentacles upright. This feels like people are focusing on the Supreme Court decision, which I totally understand, especially because that's what the leak was about. But when they're talking about this, they're like, hey, decisions have already technically been made. So I don't know if this, if the Supreme Court would have had time to make further decisions, or if they still have time to weigh things out and, change their minds or whatever. I don't know if they do or don't. I'm not, fully aware of that process, but what I see here is that whatever they have decided, they have already decided, and that is made. But when this is showing these cards here, it's almost like, how do I put this? Like the guides are saying not to focus completely on this decision. It's not that it doesn't matter, because obviously these things matter, but it's that the details are gonna be different for a lot of different people, if that makes sense. Oh man, this is difficult to explain, especially since I'm not like a political guru or a, Supreme Court guru or, whatever. And I'm just a girl reading cards, all alleged, just my interpretation, okay? But what they're putting in my head, the example they're putting in my head, I'll go with this, is a lot of times people are really obsessed with the every 4 years presidential elections here in the United States. Super obsessed with that. They're like, dude, we have to make sure it's this candidate, or we have to make sure that this person's going to be a Republican, or that this person's going to be a Democrat, or we've got to make sure X, Y, Z. And there's a lot of hype around it, and people are all, gearing up for it all different kind of ways. But then if somebody were to say, okay, who's running for your town's mayor? Who is running for your town's coroner? Who is running for your school districts? Who is, if people were to start asking those questions about super local, like not even state, but your community, your local community, there would be a lot of people who are really up in arms about who's the president of the United States. There would be a lot of people that are like, I don't know who's running for fucking school boards, or for school districts, or for mayor or coroner, or, whatever. I don't even know who's running for sheriff or whatever, I don't know. And there would be a lot of people, or there would be people that are like, I'm not really sure. I think I know some names running. There are some people that I would kind of pick, I think, and some others I'm just going to click Democrat, or I'm just going to click Republican, because I don't really know. That's kind of what this is showing, is that it's interesting how people will be like that, when really that local part is the part that matters the most for you. That's the vision that they're giving me here. That's the idea that they're putting in my head here, is they're like, we fight a lot about the big overarching things because it is important. It is important, but they are feeling like the most importance is, what do we do on an individual level, and how do we choose what our community looks like and feels like and does for us, so that we're serving our community and our community is serving us. Local, very like, we have a lot more control when things are tiny. We have a lot more control of ourselves, of our family, of our community than we do of our whole state or of our whole country. And so they're kind of saying that in some ways, people are missing the forest for the trees here. And again, I'm not trying to invalidate people's concerns, people's worries, their fears, or say that it's not important, the federal decision. I am not at all saying that. Please do not take that out of my mouth, because it ain't in my mouth. What I am saying is that they're putting an emphasis here on saying the local stuff is kind of where the rubber meets the road on this. When I'm getting this Four of Wands here, this right here is a good card. This is happy, healthy home, family, community, smaller stuff here. And this feels like grassroots even. So, okay. I'm not a political guru, so I'm going to sit here trying to explain something that political people, y'all will have better words for it. And if you do, you can type up what you think the better words are in the comments below. Totally happy for you to do that. I'm just taking a stab at it as a girl reading cards. But this is kind of like, as a result of what happens here with Roe v. Wade, we're going to see these grassroots things, these, again, local community things, small people that didn't think they had a say, or, you know, people that otherwise never really got into anything with their political system or the legal stuff and policy stuff and all of that, that they might say, you know what, I want to start doing something. I want to start contributing somehow. I'm going to start either attending town halls, or I'm going to start donating to these certain places, or I'm going to start, you know, creating Facebook groups or something for this type of advocacy, or I'm going to start some kind of, you know, you name it, whatever, that there's going to be kind of an uptick of that type of organizing, coalition building, collaborating. I don't even know what coalitions are, so I don't know why I said the words coalition building. I mean, I have an idea of what they could be by what those words mean, but I don't know what, like, on the ground that would look like. But those words came to my mind, so I'm just saying them out loud. Whatever, it came out before I even registered what I was thinking. So again, I'll let you, just my interpretation. I know this is a difficult subject for a lot of people, very controversial subject. Please do not be nasty in the comments. It is so unnecessary. People can say whatever they want to say to express themselves. I'm all about getting that throat chakra action to where we get to express ourselves. But there's a nice way to do it and a nasty way to do it, and we don't do nasty up on this channel. We just don't. That ain't this community here. So, yeah, very interesting start. So, interesting when we gave the spirit guides kind of the carte blanche to start the reading the way that they wanted to start it, that this is how they went. This is where they went with it. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull these up. Let's reshuffle and look into a little bit more here, and I'm probably gonna make a Perk Squad extended for the rest of this, because I don't want this to be too long of a video. We'll have to see. Again, if I do make a Perk Squad extended video for this, and you want to see whatever extended information didn't make it to this, then the blue join button down below is how you can be a member of the Perk Squad. All right, so did y'all see that one fly? I didn't even ask a question yet. Did y'all see that one fly? Oh, interesting. Lovers in reverse. Okay. All right. Well, let me formulate a question, but we're going to already take this, and somehow, some way, this is going to play into the question. So let's see. Wanting to know about where, let's see, how this is going to go. Piggybacking on what we were kind of looking at before, I feel like they were hinting at the direction that we should probably be going. And so I think that we'll just kind of take where the spirit guides were going and just kind of extrapolate on that. So let's look into kind of what this is going to play out for people, in terms of people who are afraid that this is a slippery slope, and that this means that it's going to be a slow ticking away at people's rights, to where, like, what was a question I saw? I saw someone say something like, oh, well, what's next? Banning abortion totally and completely, or, all forms of any kind ever, or, what's next? Making it where you can't have, sterilization procedures or birth control or this or that, or, whatever. I don't know. There's some kind of a slippery slope thing that people have described that they are very concerned about. And so let's take a peek into what do we see about that in regards to that moving forward. Okay. Okay. Interesting. In this case, I would like some context here, context here, and do I want any other context? Not right now. Context. I got context shirts in the little thing below if you're looking at it on your phone or a device or something like that. I still wear my context shirt. So, anywho, what I'm looking at here, it did kind of play into this Lover's card in reverse, because this is a Gemini card, a very two sides of the same coin type of thing. And so what this is looking at is, again, like they were mentioning before, that it depends on your perspective, because we're all looking at this same coin. It's just that some people are looking at it from this side and some people are looking at it from this side. But it is of the same coin. So we're already seeing that. But moving forward, honestly, these cards here, upright, very, very positive. So for people who are exceedingly worried about that slippery slope, this is looking quite positive, gotta say, quite positive here. That doesn't mean I'm a promise you the world. That doesn't mean I'm a promise you that everything's gonna be hunky-dory perfect. But what I can say is this is a resiliency card, and this is like one of the, if not the most positive cards in the deck. This is the sun card. It's like, it's kind of this whole, like, the sun rays are bringing the light here. People are always like, love and light to you. It's like bringing the light, bringing all of that aboard. We are not being overshadowed by darkness. People are like worrying, oh God, this is the beginning of the dark ages coming back, and things are looking scary and medieval, and we're gonna backstep on all things pertaining to women, and then women are gonna lose more rights until what? Are they gonna become property of men again? Like, people are spiraling, and I'm not even gonna be like, you're spiraling. Why would I scoff at that? I'm a woman. I want rights too. I remember when I asked a doctor to sterilize me so that I could make sure that I wasn't going to have human kids because of reasons that I probably ought not talk about on here and stuff. And they told me no, and I wasn't even allowed to choose that for myself. So, I don't want things to backslide either. So I'm not going to make fun of people who are worried about this. But what I'm seeing here is this is positive. People who are super, super worried. Take a little bit of a deep breath. Let's try that again. Hold in and drop your shoulders down. Don't let your ears have them. Let your shoulders have their own loose space. Okay? That looks all right. What I'm seeing down here to continue that narrative forward is the Death card is upright. Sounds scary, but this is always about change and transformation. And with the Knight of Pentacles upright here, this is a slow and steady change and transformation. And so they're saying that this potentially scary, depending on, again, which side of the coin you're looking at, this potentially scary, slippery slope, yada, yada, yada. What they're showing here is this is just a kind of moment in time that is catalyzing a certain change and transformation that's going to run its course. So this is kind of starting something that's a long build. This isn't even a short matter. Like, people might be thinking of this again as black or white, this or that, but it's not even a short-term thing. This is a long-term thing that's coming down the pipeline, and each little point, each little segment of what happens here informs the next step, and so on and so forth, until it breathes new life into it some sort of a way. And an example of that, if people feel like, that's a little abstract, what does that kind of look like in real terms? So, for example, again, with the COVID stuff that happened, when it hit in 2020 for a lot of us, I know it hit in 2019 for some of us too, but for most of us, 2020, when that hit, of course, people thought of it as a terrible thing. It is a terrible thing. Nobody wants Rona to be around. Nobody. But if we're going to try to look at silver linings and change and transformation that happens slowly over time and iterations, I have said this time and time again. I'm going to be a broken record here. What did it catalyze? It catalyzed the fact that education, it has a lot of inequities in it. There are things that we need to work on to make sure that education was more equitable. It also highlighted that our technology stuff could really be ramped up, and we could figure out how to provide telehealth, teleeducation, things to more people that otherwise would not have ever had access to that. We were able to take a look at the healthcare system and the problems that the healthcare system has, and try to work towards amending and ameliorating some of those issues. They were able to take a look at policy and politics and mandates, and what seems fair versus what seems an abuse of power versus, where does that line fall? Something that was nebulous before and now feels very clear where people fall on that. There's not a lot of muddy waters around that anymore like there was at the beginning, and so on and so forth. There's so much that expanded, grew, and learned out of that, like a movement, and that event catalyzed it, and that's what we're seeing here too. That's what we're seeing here too. And so as we're looking at this, there are some points of positive focus that are useful for us to see here. Some good nuggets here underpinning some of this. So for people who have excessive worry and fear around this, I think the spirit guides are really calling you to look at these pieces so that you can see it through a different lens. Take out the context you got in right now. Let's put something a little bit clearer, a little bit of a sharper image here for you. You like 2 or 1? 1 or 2? Okay. Now what about 3 or 4? 3 or 4? Blowing your eyeball. I hate that puff test. Don't y'all? Anybody else? I fucking hate the puff test. I'm always like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna, anybody else? Just me? All right, so over here to Hierophant in reverse, 4 of Cups upright. This is showing that the government, because y'all know government institutions, things like that, the government and institutions that comprise it are gonna feel like they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They have a bad decision that they feel like they have to make, because they feel like, again, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're kind of in a tough spot here. King of Swords in reverse here. This is interesting because all right, just gonna say it. King of Swords a lot of times notes the legal system. A lot of times it comes up as an attorney card. Usually when it comes up in reverse, it means there's some sort of clouded judgment around this. And so just showing, again, all alleged, just my interpretation, just a girl reading cards, that there's some sort of clouded judgment going on around this. So that's interesting. That feels like feels like a lot of wiggle room in interpretation, and you choose a weird way to wiggle, if that makes sense. Okay. So, overall here, I know we got some weirdness, but there's some positives here that we're wanting to have some takeaways on. And the guides are not wanting us to overlook kind of the broader picture of what's going on here. And when I say the broader picture, I don't mean broader picture of women's rights. I mean broader picture in a bigger, more spiritual sense of the collective consciousness and the growth and expansion and ascension of all of us collectively. Like, there's an evolutionary process, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually taking place here, and this is one of the stepping stones in that process. So this is actually a lot bigger than as if it didn't seem big enough. It's actually bigger than that, which should make people actually kind of feel a little bit better about it if people are freaked the fuck out. Okay. I know I've been going on for a long here. I want to take a look at the leak and the leaker and what's the circumstances around how it was leaked, who it was leaked by, what's going to happen with that, and all those kind of things. I'm wanting to take a peek into that and anything else that we can know, should know, would know, could know about this. So I'm going to do that in the Perk Squad Extended for anybody that is a member of the Perk Squad. Also, if you'd like a private reading from me, my website is down below in the description box, BeasTalksAndTarot.com. You can schedule a private reading with me. If you feel like all of this kind of shit has freaked you out, made everything kind of go wonky in your body, and you need an energy tune-up, then I also do Reiki Energy Healing Sessions as well, available on my website. And if you want to learn how to read the cards the way that I read the cards, and you feel like you need some tips and trips and help and coaching and mentoring and yada yada yada, then that is also something that I offer on the website too. So, Perk Squad, I am coming at you. Everybody else, you can let me know whatever your opinions, thoughts, feelings, about all of this and everything in the reading below. But again, let's try to be kind to each other. Usually we are really, really good at that in this community. Really, really good at that. So I expect nothing less. But Perk Squad, I am coming at you so we can talk about the little leaker. Alrighty. Everybody else, don't be a stranger. Come back and see me, and I will talk at you later. Bye, y'all. And puppy shenanigans coming at you. Puppy shenanigans coming at you. Bye, y'all. Well, hello. Welcome back to the real world. Rotten. Using Baby Yoda as pillow. My gosh, look at you.